think about like a person who's like the most like, reptilian exploitative person.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing that's going to attract those people, even though they're not going to have control over it,
Right.
is going to watching human beings open up and give themselves to something
Right.
that they can't do with marketing, advertising,
Right.
lifestyle.
Can't buy it.
Right.
You can't buy it.
Can't buy it.
Right.
And you can't even influence it. They're going to be so attracted, like, because let's be real, all advertising, all that shit, all the system is how can I get your soul like as quickly as possible?
Right.
And it's not
And
just
it's
like how can I make you soulless? It's like how can I literally put money, which is a proxy of your life hours, into what I have to sell so that I can
Right.
get more.
How can
It's an exchange of souls. It's an exchange
Right.
of life that's happening.
Can I
Yeah,
colonize your fucking soul a little bit?
Right.
Just a little, that little corner right there.
Right.
I got some space.
And it's all dishonest. It's like that Chomsky said, I think. It's like it's all just designed to make you make uninformed decisions. Whereas like this type of shit we're talking about, it's like it requires us to be completely honest about what the fuck is going on. There's a level of transparency that just doesn't go on, like down to the most granular shit. Like being in entertainment, it's like there's shit about my own life that I don't fucking know what is going on. You know what I'm saying? There's people emailing shit back and forth about me that I never get to see if it doesn't materialize. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't want to live that type of life. If I'm never gonna work the rest of my life, if my shit falls flat, I would like to know that and have it be my fault.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I would much rather know, like, oh shit, I guess I fucked up. I shouldn't have slapped that nigga at the Oscars.
But if you have community and you have decommodified space and people you trust around you, there's no hamster wheel. You don't fall. That just does not happen.
Right.
It doesn't happen. That's what I'm saying. That's where it all comes full circle. It's not just starting a cooperative thing so that all of us can actually be our own bosses or whatever, in the sense of, now we all have to make money in perpetuity.
Get out there and exploit yourself.
But
right
at least
quick.
there's not the social domination, element. It's like, no, it's the next level.
Right.
It's the final level. It's, I am in a space with people where we're fucking good. If the business fucking flopped, yeah, we'd have to worry about food and maybe utilities, but we got enough self-sustaining energy and infrastructure, and we know how to farm and whatever, to where we are good for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, life is
That
good.
was already
Life is
done.
good, nigga.
That was already taken care of.
I
But
also
with creatives though, it's an endless well of what we can produce that can generate revenue and wealth. That's the beautiful
It's all
thing
upside
about
after
our
that.
talent and our skills.
Like, life is good, nigga. Is life good or could life be good? You know what I'm saying?
I'm of the power. I'm in this
I wanna be
power
on the
pack. I'm
power
smoking
pack. It's all
endless.
about
I
fucking
love my
magic.
job, but I'm smoking endless power
the
pack.
thing
that power pack
too
is
is like
about.
just speaking about like just general power dynamics.
Power
It's
pack.
like
Power pack.
politics. Like I've had like
about
enough
power pack.
jobs in like the corporate sales world to like watch grown men play politics at work.
Yeah.
And it is so much more often embarrassing and infantilizing than it is like this badass like
Mad
that's
men
right.
ass shit.
Yeah, it's
right.
not. Like, I'm watching grown men, like, be afraid of grown men that are, like, 5 years younger than them just because they're in a higher position. And, like, you can just tell every single fucking thing they're saying to you in private or public is completely calculated and fake.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're trapped in that shit.
Bro, it's the Succession shit, bro. It's like, I don't know if you've seen much of that show, but
Oh,
it's
I've
like
seen all of it. It's my favorite show.
Every second, what's his name, Kendall, is on screen. He
Yeah.
looks like a fucking little boy. He's
Yeah,
like,
cooperatives, I don't
like-
think they're gonna fucking work.
Yeah, I don't.
guys.
I just don't see. I just don't think that you could run this company.
Yeah. I don't
just
think it's
stare.
good optics, Dad. I don't
Yeah,
think.
I just don't think now is the time. I don't think now is the time for such. And I don't want to be broke. So
I'm not gonna name names, but like, we know artists who they're famous, they tour, they have like sizable followings, and we know what their life is when the tour is over, when the album is out.
Oh, it's a drought.
No, we like know how they're actually living. You know what I mean? And I just think about those kinds of artists, especially ones that are brilliant and talented, And if they did have the right channels and the right infrastructure, their creations would generate, like lots of people would be into it, lots of people would pay to experience it. And like, think about the power in being able to have decommodified space, production facilities. I guess it's not entirely decommodified if you're using it to generate revenue, but you get what I'm saying. It's not a capital. The end isn't capital. It's social
Well, it
ends.
can be used for both.
Right.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to generate revenue to exist.
Right. Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how in opening up that kind of space and bringing those kinds of artists in, it just creates this. It's like an endless well of potential, creatively, culturally, and then even from the money side of it. You know, it's like, well, you can at least keep creating. You can at least keep, doing this. And then we have our own distribution infrastructure. We have our own technology. We have our own channels. And we look out for each other and we support each other at that level too, socially and culturally.
Right.
It's so crazy that even at the highest level, like Twitch streamers, YouTubers, they're so, for lack of a better word, completely cucked by YouTube and Twitch. They're just completely at
YouTube and Twitch are like, stay in your cage.
Dude,
Get back in there.
and it'll be multi-millionaires.
Yeah, but
tens of millions.
Stay in your cage. Get in your cage.
Like, how do you not be like, I'm gonna pay a guy to make a website and just do
Right,
that?
and not do this.
Not even once.
Right.
You have tens of millions. You have a mansion.
and here's the thing,
Right.
that's crazy. It's
You
like,
don't think people will migrate over?
even
Yeah.
you doing that, it's like, it doesn't even have to just be you. There's other people you can
Right.
work with. There's other money you can use.
There are 80 millionaires
Yeah.
in your specific,
There's only 80.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Small thinking, as corny as that sounds, but just thinking
No, that's
so fucking small.
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think
We talk about this. We've been talking about it a lot.
it just comes back to that, like, yeah, like niggas don't believe
in themselves or
in
In
themselves,
themselves.
in
Yeah.
their imagination, whatever. I remember when
imagination. Yeah.
when the whole like NBA
Yeah.
protest shit was
I
going
always
on,
think about that.
and
Bro.
multiple players, I think maybe Kyrie was in the conversation, or I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah.
I don't watch sports,
Yeah.
but I do remember like seeing
Like
that
LeBron.
It
they
was the
were
playoff
gonna,
teams. They were in the playoffs. The
Yeah.
teams were like, we're not playing the playoffs.
the-
and
they
we
panicked.
we
It
want to
was
go
the-
make our own
The Bucks, I
thing.
think.
Right.
And people were like,
It was
"You
Kyrie, yeah.
dumb motherfuckers, you can't make your own bet." And I'm like, what are you talking
Like,
about? They could do that
I had-
why not?
tomorrow.
I was having I
Ice
had
Cube has a fucking basketball league.
Come
like,
on,
what
dog.
the fuck?
I had a
Oh, that's
meeting
right. Big three.
with someone who basically a coach. Again, I'm not going to name names, but someone who worked in the NBA in the league, well-known shooting coach, and we had lunch and like talking about the shit we're talking about, but in the context of basketball.
At Lethal Shooter
Huh?
on Instagram.
What?
KD.
is a Lethal Shooter is the Instagram account.
But yeah, like we were talking, and he was just telling me his point from his side was like, unfortunately, like he wasn't shooting me down or something, but he was just emphasizing like, I don't think you realize like how bad we got it in our thinking. Like I don't think you realize how small the thinking is with some of these people in here.
Yeah.
He's like, it is bad. It is,
Right.
people are running in the polar opposite direction of what you're gesturing towards.
Yeah.
They're not just standing there, they are actively like slave mentality about
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
Like not just, on the surface, it can look like, man, there's these few players that are being courageous and whatever, and maybe a lot of the other ones are really sitting on the fence. It's like, no, even some of the ones that are like, maybe they followed in with the demonstration or the performance. It was a performance for them. Like they're really just like, all right, when is this going to be over?
I mean, bro.
Like when can we get back to the system? Because I need this
Yeah.
money right now.
Yeah.
I
know?
wanted to get into this when we talked about the World Cup, but my brain was a little fried. But like, I really feel like sports is probably the one of if not the biggest drivers of just like status quo mentality, because it's like it keeps us just like celebrating all the same shit.
It doesn't
It's like-
have to be, obviously.
Well,
but
it doesn't have to
yeah.
be, but the way it's organized right now.
Right now,
it's
that's
like-
the way it
Oh,
works. Yeah.
if we're on the hamster wheel, that's a little feeding tube of water.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
That runs out. We're
Not to
fucked.
interrupt.
Yeah, well, because it's like if you think just say the Olympics every 4 years comes around and gets us back, like jolts us right back into this, like, oh, I'll be nationalist for a summer. And then you got Summer Olympics, you got
Feels good.
Winter Olympics, then you got the World Cup, then you got the Women's World Cup, then you got all these other tournaments. Like there's a World Cup for every age bracket, every division. There's U16, 17, 19, 21. It's like every 4 years there's something to jolt us back into this mentality where we just like let it go for a few weeks. And then on top of that, it's like the way it entrenches us in gender dynamics, where like we have to keep shit fair in women's sports, so we have to make sure that women are a definable class that we just coincidentally will exploit once this tournament is over and during the tournament if you look at what they're actually paid. It's just like it's the most and least like if you're really looking at it, it's so not covert, but if for people that are just like not paying attention, it's like yeah, I'm just watching basketball. What's the difference? But like the reality is like I don't know how sports could necessarily be organized, but I think that's a conversation for like when we broaden it out and admit that we don't have all the answers, but if we all collectively came together, somebody would.
It's just
You know what I'm
legal
saying?
organizing stuff, and it's hard,
Yeah.
but it's doable. You know,
Yeah.
it's the
No,
social
that's-
logic that defines it.
Exactly.
The,
and
the
it's,
thing you always say that like it's like none of this shit's that old to begin with. They
Yeah.
fucking changed a league where half of them were Looney Tunes characters and they just absorbed that into the NBA. And they had a ball with a rainbow on it. Like that shit was fake. We don't even remember that shit.
yeah.
The fucking St. Louis Browns or something is like 8 different teams in 8 different sports. I don't even know the legacy of that shit. Like all this shit's made up. It's not that hard to get together.
Yeah. They used to argue about should biracials play in the Negro leagues? Like we had the dumbest fucking arguments. We're just having the different versions of the same shit now.